And welcome back to Hannity as we continue to take an in-depth look at the book that everybody's talking about. It's called The Amateur, Barack Obama in the White House. And the author of that book, Ed Klein, is still with us. All right. So this is interesting. So they have a meeting, President Obama and Reverend Wright, and they hide it from in the middle of the campaign. Now, Reverend Wright has already been offered money through an intermediary.
That's right.
To stop talking.
Yes.
Okay. Now the president makes that appeal himself. You spoke to Reverend...
The campaigner. He's not president yet.
Okay. The campaigner. He's not president yet. So they have a secret meeting, and as part of that, President Obama is asking Reverend Wright, hey, can you please stop? And this is Ed Klein's interview with Reverend Wright about it.
When he came to talk to me, he said the same thing Eric Whitaker's email said. I really wish he would not do any more public speaking until November.
Did he offer you any money?
No, he did not.
He did not.
No, Eric. In fact, Eric did not send that to me. He sent it to one of the members who sent it to me.
Eric did not send it directly to you?
No. He sent it to one of the guys close to me, saying, can you make this offer to Rev? Well, he signed it, and the IP shows exactly where it comes from, so that's in the box.
All right, so this is after the president. He's meeting with Reverend Wright after he gave a speech at Philly.
Yes.
On race.
And basically threw the Reverend Wright under the bus.
Yeah.
And then he calls the Reverend Wright, as the Reverend Wright told me, said, I'd like to have a private meeting with you at a secure place. Reverend Wright said, what do you mean a secure place? You've come to my home 1,000 times. Why don't you just come here? So he did go there. And I have the Secret Service logs showing that he did show up that day at the Reverend Wright's parsonage. And
it was picked up only in a small way by the media, but you would think after the big Philly speech. Remember, this is the president that had said earlier that he is like family to me.
That's right.
I could no longer disown Reverend Wright than I could the black community, so I could see why the Reverend's resentful. The end of this meeting, you ask Reverend Wright about this, and Obama says to him something profound. You can tell it, and then I'll play it.
He says, the trouble with you, Reverend, is that you have to tell the truth. And the Reverend Wright says to him, that's not a bad trouble to have, Mr. Obama.
Wow. So in other words, he's basically saying, he's saying, I don't have to tell the truth.
That's right.
All right, listen to this.
Was he confident about being elected?
At that point, yes, and he saw me as yes. He was confident, he was very hopeful, but he saw me as a deterrent, which is why he didn't want me to say anything.
How did you two leave each other that day in your living room?
He said, I'm sorry you don't see it that way. I said, oh, the most profound thing he said to me that day, he said, you know what your problem is? So what's my problem? You have to tell the truth. I said, that's a good problem to have.
So basically, Reverend Wright is telling the world right now, knowing that this is an important point in the election,
yes,
that Barack Obama is a liar.
That's right.
Am I reading that right?
You are. He said to me numerous times during this interview, there was a Barack Obama that I knew before he ran for president. Not a bad guy, wanted to stay home with his kids, tuck them in at night, and then something happened. When he ran for president, he completely changed.
He said he became a politician.
That's right.
And he went into great detail in that. All right, there was an interesting connection that you brought up between Whitaker and Michelle Obama.
Yes.
This is because she got a huge pay raise. She worked for this hospital. That became controversial because they had this whole policy put in place where people would be sort of encouraged to go to other hospitals to save money.
To save money for the University of Chicago Hospital Medical Center. They would shunt poor patients under when Michelle Obama was head of the Urban Health Initiative. They shunted these poor patients to local hospitals so they had more room for rich patients who could pay more. And that job that she had, which was paid, I think, $315,000 a year.
Which was a significant raise.
Oh, like triple what she was making before. This was after he became a United States Senator.
Yeah.
That same job is now held by, guess who? Eric Whitaker.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is crony Chicago capitalism.
You know, I felt bad in the book. Oprah Winfrey, I think, paid a little bit of a price. But for the first time, she came out and supported a candidate, somebody I think she, you know, wholeheartedly believed in.
No question.
And really, you describe in the book where she was shunned by the White House, Valerie Jarrett, Michelle Obama in particular.
Yes. What happened is after the election, Oprah said to herself, well, I can't say what she said to herself, but she acted as though, listen, I played a major role in getting this guy elected. And she and Barack Obama were on the phone all the time with her, giving him advice about various things, how to conduct an administration that would be popular. And she knows a lot about how to be popular. Well, when Michelle Obama got wind of this, and especially Valerie Jarrett, her very best friend who's ensconced in the White House, they interpreted this as though Oprah was trying to be the first lady. Wow. That Oprah was trying to usurp Michelle's position, and they really froze her out.
Right. I noticed left-wing blogs that always attack you are attacking you now. I don't see how they can attack you because you have a 3-hour audio tape that you've now given me on the Reverend Wright interview, so it corroborates everything you said there. Right. What do you say about the other sourcing for and the information? You spent a lot of time researching the book.
I did. You know, I interviewed 200 people. Yeah. Most of them on the record, by the way, including the president's physician who was his personal physician for 22 years, guys who worked with him at the University of Chicago Law School, people who worked with him at the Illinois State Senate. As far as Oprah is concerned, Oprah was so upset what she heard back from the White House, which was, and this is an Oprah quote, Michelle doesn't want me in the White House working with her on this anti-obesity campaign because she says she doesn't like a fat person waddling around the White House. Oprah was fit to be tied. Now, as you can see, Oprah is not campaigning for Obama this time around.
And obviously you believe they're connected.
Absolutely.
All right, Ed Klein, a very, very bland, non-controversial book as usual. Thanks for being with us. I'm sure there's going to be a reaction to this.